Boom! Alright, it's Wednesday. No, it's not. It's Wednesday tomorrow. It's Wednesday the 18th tomorrow. It's Tuesday the 17th of July. No. God damn. Are we July or August? Hang on. It's August. It's August. Yeah, I don't even know what month it is. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Does it even matter what month it is? Yeah, I'm due tomorrow in hospital, London, the 18th of... Yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud without checking my diary. So it's Tuesday, yeah, it's Tuesday, it's the 17th of August, and what a great start, what a great flawed start. Okay, just checking these cameras. That's, why am I like this? I'm frowning, I'm scowling and frowning. Just waffling bollocks. Breathe, Justin. Okay, this is my second stream ever to Twitch. Oh, well, I said Twitter then. And I tell myself everything for a reason. I was, on here last night just yapping away. And I guess in many ways I'm just starting to feel that part of me thinks, shit, is this worth it? What am I even doing? Does anyone care? No. Is anyone listening? No. Am I growing? Do I know much about the technical side? Do I know much about how to grow this? No. All I know is that I want to talk, and I feel, in fact, I feel exactly the same as I did when I began this stream. This is episode 401. So although I'm only 2 streams deep on Twitch, which is that one there, this is YouTube. This is my 401st episode. So I've done this, a few times now. But I find myself at a strange crossroads because there's lots I want to talk about, there's lots I feel the need to talk about, and I'm not going to say dog shit things like, hey, come and join me on my journey, because it just sounds beyond corny. If I saw a guy on Tinternet like saying, hey, like doing jazz hands and high energy shit and acting like they're a children's TV presenter, there's nothing more I hate, I find very disingenuous when I see people come on camera like this and they're like, hey, hi, and it's all like high energy bollocks. I don't want to get that sort of following. Of course I'd like to start a cult, be rude not to, wouldn't it? Let's make cults cool, but I don't know, we're a funny time we're living in. Saw a great interview actually last night with one of my guys, one of the very well-known comedians that we have here, Ricky Gervais. I remember watching Ricky 20 years ago when The Office began. It's one of our sort of most successful series, and I know it was an export to you guys in America. I've got some good American friends, but one of the statements that Ricky Gervais said, it's one of those Hollywood round table discussions, and he said, that the industry and a lot of the sort of society now, the conversation is just full of idiots, it's chock full of idiots, and I'm paraphrasing. But he says something about that there's this terrible confusion between the target and the subject, or the subject and the target. And I thought, fuck, that makes sense, because there's so much, and this is why I called tonight, making sense, a bit of a rip-off of sense making. There's a guy called, I think he's called David Fuller. He's very good, very professional. Has a stream, a channel, YouTube channel called Rebel Wisdom, and I'm sure his name's David Fuller, yeah, I'm sure of it. And he's a well-known, respected journalist, and you just got to take, hello, how you doing? Nice to see you. It's Kev Said, part of Brit. I'm good, thank you. Yeah, excellent. Nice to see you. But no, it was really interesting watching. It's funny because these days, all you've got to do, and this applies to, lovely to, please stay. But it's bizarre really, because I'm 401 episodes deep now. Like I say, it's my second one on Twitch. I've only done, I don't know, probably a few dozen of these to YouTube. I began on Facebook, and obviously got blocked from Facebook. And then I started to use Instagram, and I've been blocked from Instagram now. So even saying that out loud, it sounds like, oh, Justin, you must be really controversial. No, mate. Like, when I began these streams, because I'm 532 or 533 days now deep into this swerving, just because of The government's called me a KEV, I call it a KEV anyway, as an acronym, clinically extremely vulnerable, as per my 17 letters attached to my cork board in the kitchen, due to my myriad of medical issues that I've gained over the last 14 years. But it's weird really, because I'm turning 50 in January, and I've ironically not felt this healthy for years, and cathartically, mentally, I thought, shit, I'll start streaming because it's something to do. I started to self-isolate and lock down on the 9th of March last year, so that will give you an indication how long I've been doing this. And like I say, last night was the 400th episode, and yeah, I'm talking to a couple of smartphones, and I've kind of taken a bit of a Justin deep dive into smartphones. I'm very excited about my new Pixel 6 Pro coming and the new 13 Pro Max, days away now. So I do trade my 12 Pro Max, which is that phone, and my S21 Ultra, which is that phone. That will go for a Pixel 6 Pro, and that will go for a 13 Pro Max. Thank you, EE. And I run OnePluses as well, but yeah, I've gone deep with Apple Android. I use both. I don't do all this, or I'm an iOS person or I'm an Android person. I actually use both systems. I enjoy both systems a lot. Yeah, it's funny. I look at someone like, there's so much coming at us now. Recently, and I do feel a bit of an imposter tonight, even using the language making sense, because what I do when I fire up these cameras and start these streams, as you can see, I'm noteless. There's no script, of course. It's unwoke, it's unedited. It's me, I get these Sontronics British-made mics. Yes, I've managed to procure these lovely boom arms a la Rogan. These are the Gator frameworks, which you see, when you do see a Rogan show, any sort of, ubiquitous streamer / podcaster, invariably they've got these boom arms here, and good old Amazon, but I can't, my budget doesn't extend to the iconic Shure SM7B microphones that you see the likes of Joe Rogan and other prolific podcasters use. But at 320 to 350 per, I'm quite happy with these at £80 each, and believe you me, 4 of these at £80. I can entertain around my little round table here. I've got the mic arms, so I could have 2 or 3 people. So that brings me to the social distancing. Let that be a really shitty segue. And I've got like a couple of dozen of these from the NHS. That's a bit. It's supposed to say I am exempt from wearing a mask. I've got like 5 or 6 in the car, and they're all, So I'm due in Guy's Hospital tomorrow in London. For those of you that don't know, Guy's is right at the foot of the Shard in London, and I went to get my kidney transplant 8 years ago. So I'm 8 years deep now with my transplant. It's touch wood, it's working very well. I've lost 4.5 stone over the last year and a half. So my bloods are good, and obviously I'm not allowed a vaccine. What else? I'm 10 years past my spine tumour, and here I am. Excellent. Oh, of course you have. God, of course you have got a transplant. Yes, sorry. God, what an idiot I am. Yeah, you're part of the club, man. Good for you. As you can see by my reaction, A, I'm like, oh, you twat, Justin, you forgot. But B, whenever someone says to me, me too, I've got a transplant, it fills me with joy. And that's really cheesy, but it's true, because it's not a light switch. I remember when I got off dialysis, it's about 4.5 years deep into dialysis, approaching my 5th year of dialysis, also I saw my fistula here. And my fistula is kind of pretty good these days. It's kind of pumped down quite a bit. But they keep the fistula there, don't they, in case. And I thought, God, I can't stand a 5th year of dialysis, 6.5 hours, which for me was quite low. Some people are doing 10 hours, but I was 6.5 hours of dialysis every congratulations, man. Congratulations. It's really, God damn it, gooseneck. I'm sorry, I'm just adjusting the camera slippage here. Come on, house. I'm just trying to get that like, myself, basically. That'll do, just. So yeah, give my regards to say, please, never met you, sir, but obviously, good for the two of you. I mean, good for you both. So I'm really out of touch with Facebook and whatnot. I found algorithmically speaking that I don't, or what I say or what I post, sorry, doesn't really vibe with the way you're meant to speak on Instagram and Facebook. And I appreciate Mark the Beast Zuckerberg. Obviously, Instagram and Facebook is one of the same company. The irony's not lost on me. I've now had to lean heavily towards Rumble. Also, I use Signal, Telegram, even WhatsApp. Now things that are just double-ending, well, not so double-ending encrypted, but what I've gone to now, I've gone to Minds, I've gone to Locals, I've gone to Rumble, Odyssey, because a voice like mine, as tiny and as inconsequential as it is, I mean, I've not even got 3,000 subs yet, so my subscription count on YouTube is about 2,600 something now, so it's very low count. You're not monetizing, you're not doing any ad revenue on YouTube until you're into sort of good 5-6 figures. But I did this for cathartic reasons. I did this, I thought, shit, what are you going to do? I have to say I always have empathy for anyone who's been through what we have. Yes, my friend, yes. I think that's a really good outlook because, mate, empathy is a really good catch-all, isn't it? It's a really good phrase. And over, as a broad stroke, you do empathise with anyone going through dialysis, anything renal related. And heck, some people are 10, 12, well, some people just never get onto having a transplant. As you know, it's not a light switch. You're still, your one good transplanted, graft is going to be working to 50% of one good kidney. I got my creatinine down now to sub 90, which is great. My creatinine when I was dialysing was sort of 1550, 1600. Astronomically high creatinine, really shit clearance. Hitting 6.5 hours dialysis, I wasn't. I was always getting like 55%, 50, really shit clearance. But now I'm 68, 69%. And like I say, I've gone down from 147 kilos, I'm now 116 kilos, so less tissue, less weight, lower creatinine, lower BP, greater longevity. You know the score, my friend, I'm diabetic now, of course, and I shouldn't really say of course, but no, I've got it's metformin, it's no insulin, thankfully. I don't intend to go the way of my late father. Well, both my parents have popped off, but without getting too morbid, I thought, shit, I watch people on dialysis, or I did watch people on dialysis, and obviously diabetes, like, oh, there goes a toe, there goes a foot, and they're dead. So that's not going to happen. So, lighter is righter, and you live longer. And my leg that I destroyed in 2007, when my medical problems began, before the spine tumour, thought, how can I try and course correct? And the reason for getting lighter, especially now, as I'm approaching 50 in January, I'm thinking, okay, just you get your ass light. Just who gives a shit about if I've got any muscle? It's not really of any importance now. I just had an operation for dialysis on a Thursday. These messages don't stay. On the Saturday, I was wished, no, you lucky bugger, I just had an operation for dialysis. So basically, they gave you a fit. So are we saying that a vascular surgeon prepped your fistula so you could commence hemodialysis? Obviously, you were doing hemo, not peritoneal dialysis, right? Hospital for transplants. Did you dialyse or not? Hang on. I was was very lucky. Oh, this lady, or your other brilliant. Excuse me for pointing finger. For some reason, these messages don't light up too well on live. I just had operation for dialysis. So I take that to mean you just had prep with your fistula. On the Saturday, I was off to ADE, what am I getting cramped in that? So did you basically swerve dialysis? Didn't works. No fistula failed twice. Oh, you went peritoneal, okay. How did you find peritoneal? Because I never forget when I hate this word, my journey. When the dialyzing began, I was obviously under the care of Kings then, and I went to Guy's, and Guy's been fabulous. I've got a real stellar surgeon called Nissan Mahmood, and I'm part of the Alexion trial. Terrible failure rate, actually. That was £980,000 for 12 weeks. The Solaris Alexion trial, because I'm HLA incompatible, I contracted HLA antibodies from multiple blood transfusions when I had my spine tumour. So you know yourself, if you're, well, you're probably not, but when you're a prospect for a transplant and you're HLA incompatible, it means you're kind of fucked, really. It's like, oh shit, it's very hard to make a kidney match, and my brother was a terrible match for me. So we had to do a lot of tweaking to get the thing. Amino, as an ATG, aminoglutathione, I've forgotten now what the acronym is, but yeah, I took part in the Alexion trial, and it was just it was 20 grand shy of £1 million given to me over 12 weeks to make it work, and that's the Alexion trial, and that was a 70% failure rate, which was concerning. They were like, sorry about the camera, guys. I'm just trying to tighten this bloody clamp up. It's better. That was a bit of a brown trouser moment. The 10 patients had been given. Want to know something scary? I had an IG. I don't know what is an IgA. Let me know what that acronym stands for. I can't think what an IgA means. Come on. I mean, HLA is human leukocyte antigens. What would IgA stand for? You have to let me know what that one is. I'm not sure what an IgA is. I never pretend to know. If I don't know, I'll say. Come on, house. Sorry, I'm just fucking around these gooseneck arms. That's better. That's better. The donor had failed. Oh gosh. So your donor had died from meningitis. I'm not sure what IgA is. Hey Google, what is IgA in renal transplantation?
On the website frontierson.org, they say, recurrence after renal transplantation, IgA nephropathy is the most common primary glomerular disease worldwide.
Oh, glomerular,
The
okay.
disease generally runs an indolent course but may lead to ESRD in 20 to 30% of patients in 20 years or more after diagnosis.
Oh, now that's what hey Sadie, that's what, because I still speak to Tom Prince, because obviously Tom Prince and Flex Wheeler have gone, it's very sad now with Ken Flex Wheeler, remember? Now, oh no, hang on, I'm thinking, sorry, I'm getting GFR, glomerular filtration rate. I suppose it's good in a way. I've forgotten over the years. My medical knowledge has slipped, really. IgA. Oh, come on, comments. Ah, you bugger. Oh, I'm cocking this up. Okay, at least the cameras are stable now. There's Twitch is all right. Sorry, guys. On a tangent, on a due tang, right? Did you guys see, one of the things I posted earlier on today, I've forgotten which Tom Cruise Mission Impossible it was, when he jumps onto a Airbus, he's hanging on, isn't he, by the undercarriage, and of course we saw it today from Kabul, people desperately jumping on the American military Airbus to flee Kabul. And I just, I know a couple of guys that went to Afghanistan, and not intimately, but just to speak to online, and you think, holy, just, a couple of decades, and I adore America. I mean, I speak to my American friends all the time, and say, you know, and that's it. I think it wasn't my fault. You know, when Tom Cruise, he jumps on, yeah, was it after, was it Ghost Pro? Oh, whatever. But life imitates art, and life shouldn't imitate art, should it? I mean, and that's a cliche, but it just occurred to me today, and I thought that's a cruise control Tom Cruise scene, isn't it? And it was like a whole thing at the time about how Tom Cruise is so ballsy doing his own stunts, and he's basically, you know, clinging on to the sort of the undercarriage, as it were, of the Airbus, whatever they are, C-17 or Airbus 400. I'm no aviation expert, but today or yesterday, you know, seeing the Kabul airport in Afghanistan and seeing basically people that, you know, helped the US soldiers, well, and our soldiers, assisted with, you know what I mean, and physically jumping. How desperate must you be to flee your land if you're prepared to literally cling on to an outbound plane, knowing full well whatever grip strength you've got, you're a goner, and to see these people fall from the sky to their certain deaths. Sorry, I'm just still trying to tighten the back of the camera. I found that very, and I just thought to myself, gosh, the cruelty of this. You know, you've got a Tom Cruise engineered stunt, which at the time got lots of praise, versus something that's happened, you know, in real life. And I just thought, wow. And I'm a big fan of Jocko Willink, of course. And you know, when you look at all these American soldiers that did Iraq, and you know, thinking about the Helmand Province and some of our own British document. I'm a big Russell Brand fan, and Russell Brand was speaking to Adam Curtis. Adam Curtis is a wonderful English documentary maker, and Russell Brand was speaking to Adam Curtis. And it's a heartbreaking conversation. You think about what we did with America in 47, 49, just after the war, going to the Helmand Province, you know, for the 00, for the oil, for the opium, and you realise that at $1.5 to $2 million a day was the spend on the opium trade in Afghanistan, and 20 years of this bollocks to be torn asunder in literally 20 days by the Taliban. That's when you think, oh my God, what was the point? And then, you know, come on, man, sleepy Adam Curtis, brilliant documentary maker, isn't he? And then things like Century of the Self and all that. That was Edward Bernays, wasn't it? Freud. Bitter Lake he did. Yeah, that was it. Bitter Lake. That's a wonderful eye-opening. I mean, he's Adam Curtis. When you listen to Adam, the elusive Adam Curtis, in conversation with Russell Brand, and I don't profess to be an authority. I'm simply a fanboy, but I just thought, blimey. And you look at the water supply, you know, and that hence the name Bitter Lake, about the Helmand Province, and how the UK and the US did a sneaky collaboration, literally, in those 3 or 4 years after the Second World War, and thought, oh, you know, Bitter Lake is the Afghanistan. That's it. Yes, my friend. Yes, I'm glad you've seen it too. In fact, Sadie, if you're there, it was our mutual friend Tom Reeder. Sadie will know. She knows Tom. I'm incredibly fond of Tom. What a fantastic young man Tom Reeder's. God, I sound so old. I mean, what's Tom? He's 33 now, isn't he? 16, 17 years. But I'm in regular contact with Tom, and just what a wonderful human Tom. Well, he always was, wasn't he? But what, you know, now with his filmmaking and the videography and just his travelling and his, you know, diving and mountaineering and working for this person or that, you know, it's just, you know, fantastic. Tom was the same. Exactly. You know, I've got there's certain things that are indispensable. Venice Beach sand. I won't get emotional, don't worry, I won't get juddery, but I've got on my window still in my kitchen here, Tom collected from Venice, of course, legit Venice Beach sand. in a very thick glass, cork bottle. And I'm not too embarrassed to say that on the daily, when I'm at my kitchen sink, just washing up as you do, I always pop the cork and just like a drug, I just have a little sniff, a little hit, and it does reliably smell of that Venice Beach sand. So I don't know when you went to see John and Tamara, didn't you, probably? And I've not seen John and Tamara for a long time, although I'm in, that sort of contact with them, texting, and I'll have great long, Instagram, what's it called? Direct messages with John, and they're in Daytona, aren't they? But I lived with Sean Phillips and his other half, Heidi, lovely couple in Cape Coral. So really, the American things like Cape Coral, Florida, so it's about 250 miles apart or something. But I will return to Florida as soon. I mean, look, they might say to me, "Are you too vaccinated?" There's a reason I'm mentioning that. I mean, they might say to me in the morning, I like Russell Brand, but I always think of Get Into the Greek. Yeah, oh my God, the Jeffrey the Furry Wolf. Oh my God. What a wonderful film. Yeah, Smoking a Jeffrey with a furry wolf. What a great film with what's the lad? Jonah Hill. That's a great film, mate. That's a great film. Oh, brilliant. I love Russell Brand. I watch Under the Skin. I mean, we are blessed. We are blessed in so many ways, especially a geek boy like me. If it's not patently obvious by the way I look and sound and am, this is very, I've got a little flat here and I've been here for 2 years now. I've got my phone fixation, and I found my love affair with phones, bit of this, bit of that. It's Russell Brand, it's Joe Rogan, it's Jocko Willink, Jordan Peterson. We've got some really good voices now. I think in many ways, a lot of us, myself included, are kept on the straight and narrow by just checking in each day with, I meditate each morning. I just use apps like Breathe. It's funny, isn't it? You find Brett, of course, yes, Brett and Eric, of course, the Weinsteins. Now, Brett's taken, as you know, my friend, Brett's taken a hammering for ivermectin. Now, when we saw Paul Marek and Dr. Pierre Corrie, I got into the whole ivermectin used prophylactically because I knew I wasn't allowed the vaccine, yeah. I've got, in fact, Sally might remember Steve Cooper, because Steve Cooper's had a Bell's palsy, a paralysis from, of course, the Pfizer. And I know 3 people that have had various facial palsies from the Pfizer. My own bro got sick off the Pfizer jab, and I'm not making a man out of a molehill, because I understand also the vaccine in the vast majority of the cases is safe for the vast majority of people the vast majority of the time. So I'm realistic about that, and obviously I'm not allowed it for a variety of reasons, and I may even be told tomorrow that they're gonna let me have a go at it. But the transplant unit guys in London and my own GP here, they'd always said to me, don't get the flu vaccine just, because you're immunologic, as you know yourself, my friend, it's like, you're taking your Adaport, aren't you, and your mycophenolate all the time. I've had AstraZeneca, so Oxford, that was, so Sadie went Pfizer. What did we have here? Was it AstraZeneca? Ooh. What was I'm just thinking out loud, was it so Sadie had AstraZeneca ×2. Interesting. You see, it's such a, excuse my language, it's such a fucker, really, because on the one hand, look, I call it the sorry, wrong way around. Okay, I see, I get. I call it the COVID-sation, and what I do find distressing, guys. I mean, I'm I'm not projecting. I'm just saying. I think the whole thing has been whapped. One of my own silly acronyms. I don't mean Cardi B WAP. I mean WAP as in weaponised and politicised. Everything these days is invariably whapped. It does distress me that you've got vax holes, vaccine snobbery, in family feuding. You know, you've got your what I call your water cooler experts. You know, armchair quarterbacks pontificating about, oh yeah, don't get the Pfizer and don't get the Moderna and don't get the, you know, oh god, I'm blanking on the other name. There's 5 companies, isn't there? But you know, I don't like Dr. Fauci. I think Fauci's a slimy little fucker. But Brett, I started to follow Heather Heying, his wife, and what's their son, Zach, and Brett Weinstein, of course, with the Evergreen thing in 2017. And I was an early adopter because I first discovered JP, Jordan Peterson, in November 2016, of course, on Rogan. Armchair activists, exactly. And we, you know, there's a terrible and I'm sure Sadie, I can imagine you and Sadie have got a very grounded take on this, because I'm just trying to think of the best way to sort of convey this. I'm not as eloquent as our Russell. I'm not going to come out with some, you know, fantastic monologue, but yeah, it's like what I don't like. I mean, I said this to John Hawkins and to Sean Phillips. Said, goodness me, you know, we're going to change the name of the USA to the DSA. You know, it's the not United States, but the divided states. And of course, over here, you know, Conservative Labour, over there, Republican Democrat, and you know, you've got Biden speaking to his blue country. Let's be quite honest now. You've got we can see Biden's cognitively impaired. I watch American politics more than English because it's frankly more interesting. We know Trump was a douche. Of course Trump was a douche. I mean, to say Trump wasn't a douche is in and of itself a bit of a douche statement. But having said that, I look at what Biden's doing and the frankly he's yielding, isn't he, to the radical left, you know, to the AOCs and the Ilhan Omars, and you know, it's like I'm not even going to get into the trans thing because that's a can of worms, but I've done enough of these live streams where I've talked extensively about trans and how, you know, a natally biologically born man is. I'm not going to go there with the recent. I'm not. But to get back to the COVID thing, and you mentioned Brett, and I remember. When did I start to fan? I started to fanboy out on Jordan Peterson in November 2016, and most people didn't really discover Jordan Peterson until 2 years afterwards. So because of my obsession with Rogan, because I knew Rogan obviously through, you know, my early years loving UFC from November '93, but there's an absurdity to this. There's, like I say, weaponised and politicised, like you say, armchair activists. You've got so much finger pointing and so much feuding, and frankly, what I find is, God, bloody. Well, I will get better. Like I say, you wouldn't think I've done 400 streams, would you? The way I'm fast asking about these cameras, but I've got 2 very robust gooseneck arms holding the 12 Pro Max and the S21 Ultra, but any normal person would say phones, but they're just slowly slipping, and I can see myself like, so I'm just trying to tighten up the back of the phone clamp all the time. Anyway, I digress. The you know, look at the Dark Horse podcast. You know, it's fantastic, of course, and now, you know, they got kicked off YouTube. Thank you, Susan Wojcicki, YouTube CEO, and of course they're on Odyssey now. And now I'm adopting Odyssey, and I know it's not easy to do reviews on hi-fi equipment. Right, interesting. Do you know, it's a man after my own heart. There's a certain. Do you find it's just the joy of unrehearsed. Of course, yeah, you can't. I don't. I think you can spot the streams where people are using a script. I've got nothing in front of me. So in fact, I've got a little post-it note here, but that's. Oh, that was about John Meadows, the recently deceased bodybuilder who, at 3 months younger than me, sadly died last week. Yeah, no, I don't use any script, any notes, nothing. It's weird. I remember the dogpiling of, you know, you look at how Brett was treated with the Evergreen University, of course. 2017, really something happened. I'm sure if you're into Brett and therefore Jordan Peterson, you'll know the work of Jonathan Haidt. Now, I adore Jonathan Haidt. Fantastic. Was he Yale or Harvard? H-A-I-D-T. I rely on Audible. I don't read books. When I'm doing my cardio, I've got like a stationary bike there. I rely on Audible, so all my books are read to me. You know, buds go in and away you go. And Jonathan Haidt did a wonderful book called The Coddling of the American Mind. Really, you know, that's your helicopter parenting, and now we're looking at CRT, of course. You know, CRT, critical race theory. You know, what have we got? We've got Peter Boghossian, James Lindsay, Helen Pluckrose. We are heading for a bit of a car crash, because the fact that even the utterances that have left my mouth tonight would have many people saying of me, oh, look at that terrible cisgendered white man, you know, obviously shaved head, you know, therefore I'm a Nazi. No, I'm bald. You know, I'm a Nazi. I'm a misogynist. You know, I'm a bigot. I'm a trans. I'm a, you know what I mean? It's. I had to step away from most of that, to be honest. At the height of my illness, I felt. Oh, come on, messages. I felt delving way too deeply into things. Yeah, it's funny, you have to, there's so much rinse and repeat with this, isn't there, that in terms of the conversation. I mean, I'm not making excuses for myself, but I do live alone, and I'm probably a little bit too accustomed to being on my own. I've been on my own for blimey, gosh, I've been on, I don't know, probably a decade, anyway, I'm so adjusted now to, speaking of adjusted, as I adjust that bloody phone again, yeah, obviously different, you know, you guys are together, eggshelling, you know, I'm trying to get to the crux of it, you know, the eggshelling, isn't it? There's so much now that seems to be off limits. I had this with Tom really recently, you know, we were, because what you can, like if I was texting you two now, I'm third generation astronomer and love science, I started going down the rabbit hole so deeply I thought I was going to, that's dude, you sound really cool, I'd love to meet you. I bet Sally's laughing, thinking, oh God, Justin's the geek, he's still the geek. She's known me for years. She knows what a geek I am. Yeah, good for you, dude. I mean, it's nice to talk to you. I love all that. I mean, what do you think of someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson or something? Again, we're spoiled, aren't we? We're spoiled with there's so many you know, it's like if I was going, this is analogous to, or using like Sam Harris, you know, or I'll start speaking really fast like Ben Shapiro. Something's happened, hasn't it? Something's happened in the last 3 to 5 years. And this is what Jonathan, yeah, no, I can tell, but I like it. Why did I say that 3 times? There's this space. Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I mean, he's almost like a God, who's that big singer? The Barry White, isn't he? He's almost like a, you know, like you could see Neil deGrasse Tyson coming out with some. Although I actually like Brian Cox a great deal. I think Brian Cox is incredibly appealing. We are, in terms of our diet now, I think we're ever so, it's true, isn't it? Like, it's, you know, you watch, in fact, what will make you laugh is, if you didn't notice, I suspect you did notice, the most recent appearances of as you say, you know, Neil deGrasse Tyson, or deGrasse Tyson, on Rogan. You could see Joe Rogan was getting a little bit peeved, whether it's an ego thing or not, but you could see the interruption. There's nothing worse than, I mean, look, I'm streaming essentially, I've basically monologuing, aren't I? Although I've had, I really should get some names on here of people I know. I know I don't go a lot on Brian Cox. He makes things too complicated. Got a reply from him on Twitter once. Oh, really? Interesting, interesting. What, does he get a bit esoterical? Is it a bit too fluffy? That's interesting. That's it. I think there's so much of the entertainer, isn't there? You know, it's like, because a lot of this is performative. I mean, I'm going to be very honest with you and say there's people online, best UK scientific, now that's a name I don't know, Jim Al-Khalili. Actually, I have heard that name. Let me write that down. Yeah, now I'm actually saying out loud, Jim Al-Khalili. Yeah, that's a name I've heard of. Jim, oh bollocks. Sorry, I'm cocking up the screen. That's better. Sorry, I daren't touch the messages, and then it goes black like that. He also replied to me on Twitter. Right, see, I fanboy out over this. I've had a load of replies from Jocko Willink on Twitter. In fact, my Twitter, you know, the pinned thing you can have on Twitter. I'm such a bloody, oh, Justin, you're such a gay. I've got one from Jocko Willink saying, you set an awesome example, Justin. I'm like, yeah, fanboying out from Jocko. So I've got my Twitter actual pinned thing as a message from Jocko. But that's just the whole, you know, macho thing, isn't it? It's like, oh, Jocko Willink, you know, Navy SEAL. I wonder how he feels about all these people in Afghanistan, you know, because I don't know. Right, Jim Al-Khalili, Khalili, that's interesting. I will Google him. Watch the documentary Chemistry. Oh, messages again. I've got to slide it. Watch the documentary Chemistry of Volatile History. Actually, hey Google, Jim Al-Khalili documentary Chemistry of Volatile History.
Here is some information about chemistry, a volatile history. Jim Al-Khalili traces the story of how the elements, the building blocks that make up our entire world, were discovered and mapped.
Cool, okay, thank you. It's funny because I've got the volume, this is our OnePlus 7T there, but I just actually sold my OnePlus 9 Pro last week. I also have, oh, there he is. Oh, yes. There you go. You see, this is something I need to learn to do. I've got my little thingy here, and of course what I want to do is embed it. Really, if I had any talent at all, because what will also make you laugh, my friend, is that I've got a rather nice 2020 iPad Pro, replete with pen. Yeah, and this is the Magic Keyboard, yeah. And if I had any fucking, excuse my French, there you go. If I had any skill, I'd use this rather nice iPad Pro to stream from and start using that interface there. What I should be able to do is to talk to you guys now with embedded. You know, it would be such a more entertaining stream for you guys, wouldn't it? If I was saying, if you said to me, yes, Justin, Jim Al-Khalili, and I go, oh, thank you, bang, and he appears on screen, and then my face, my ugly mug, gets sucked down to the corner of your screen, and I become embedded with, and I know people do this. You see, I'm a big fan of Owen Benjamin. I mean, I'm 6'5", Owen Benjamin's 6'7", 6'8", so a bit of a height power there, really. Notice I said height power, not white power. But I like It's like I what's the other one I like? I like comedians that are a bit naughty, that are yeah, comedians that aren't PC. What I've noticed a lot of people doing, especially during the COVID thing, is they've started to do this, albeit, God, these fucking cameras. Sorry, it's a bit of a lesson this one tonight. I feel sorry for you guys if the screens are doing this all the time, you know, because I'm constantly adjusting those bloody clamps. Yeah, there's people that look. It's very different when you're watching a Rogan, because he's got, you know, young Jamie Vernon. They've essentially got, you know, sound engineers. I mean, Sadie, this would be like me if I could, and believe me, you know me, I would if I could. I'd have Tom Reeder here. My favourite comedian is Stuart Lee. See, that's someone else I don't know. Hey Google, who is Stuart Lee, comedian?
According to Wikipedia, Stuart Graham Lee is a British stand-up comedian, writer and director. In the mid-1990s, he was one half of the radio duo Lee and Herring, alongside Richard Herring.
Oh,
His
him!
stand-up is characterized by repetition, callbacks, deadpan delivery, and a pronounced use of deconstruction, which he often discusses on stage.
Okay, interesting. Oh wow, yeah. Okay. So yeah, case in point, I'd like to be. I mean, the reason I mentioned Owen Benjamin is because there's sort of preponderance unit health for sure. Well, I mean, say I would have. Sorry, these cameras are really. This, to be fair, in my defence, this has only happened. Look, I've been. In many ways, this is forcing my hand to butt my ideas up, because it's all very like the cameras. Obviously, we need to be in landscape as opposed to portrait, but the gooseneck clamps I'm using, as you can see, are quite weak and they're falling down. That's why I'm constantly fucking around with the cameras. Watch coming vehicle, shiboggle sketch hilarious. I mean, I would have a Tom Reeder here all the time if I could. There's always a right, you know, when you watch someone like a Tim Dillon or an Owen Benjamin or Joe Rogan, whoever, just regardless of the size of the audience, they've got a right-hand man. They've basically got they've got technical support on hand. And as you can see, I'm very much doing this, yeah. Seat in my, you know, it took me. I mean, I'd have to take the cameras off the clamps, but I've got basically, you know, this set up over there as well on the other side of the table. I'm into my paracord bracelets, of course. I'm into paracord stuff. Sad boy, but it's Justin still thinking he's in Point Break. Sad bastard. Yeah, I'm the Bodhisattva on Bodhisattva. God dear. Right, so I've written those things down. I've made, well, Google will remember what I've said. We're swamped, aren't we? We're swamped. You are, oh bugger. Oh, now I've done it. You are the anti-tech fella. Well, this is the crazy thing, right? I mean, I've worked with Sadie, so she will remember firsthand how utterly appalling I am with tech. What I have fallen in love with, though, specifically, is of course smartphones. And case in point, you know, I've got a completely decent iPad Pro. 2020, it's a decent thing, and I'm not using it in the way it's intended, and I'm relying on smartphones and the fact that I'm always running 3 of them, you know, a couple of Androids and an Apple, and the latest, greatest flagships. And yeah, I'm a Huawei fan, and I've had everything, and you know, next month, of course, it's the end of next month. It's the Pixel 6 Pro for me, be my 5th Pixel, and the 13 Pro Max, the 12 Pro Max here goes back for the 13 Pro Max, and the S21 Ultra will become the S22 Ultra. in January, seeing as they've dropped the Note series, because I was running Notes, of course. So yeah, you know, your Huawei, OnePlus, Samsung, Apple, Goog. I'm a Goog fanboy because there's a certain excitement around the new Pixel 6 Pro, because arguably this is the best, certainly in terms of hardware. Goog have always done sublime software. Apple still kicking ass with video, but in terms of raw photography, actual photography, you know, just point and point and squirt. I go out to the New Forest, I go out to the beach. No fuckery, no settings, no promo. Just get your phone and click. You're going to get a great shot off a Pixel. In fairness, the S21 Ultra has got a very, very, very versatile camera. It's certainly the best Samsung I've used, that phone there. But most people have iPhones, and most people are either Samsung or Apple. And I'm like, have you tried a Pixel? You know, have you tried a Huawei? You know, a P40 Pro or a, you know, a Mate, or if you know what I mean? There's more, and OnePlus as well. So I fell deep in love with smartphones, but I'm shit with tech. I'm shit with tech. Nothing will be well. This is interesting. This is interesting. That's the argument, isn't it? You know, if we're looking at a DSLR, and being a DSLR man, I'm sure you've got lots of these Jobies lying around, these 5K Jobies here, the old Focus models. Right, but yeah, digital. I mean, phones are trying to copy now with their periscopes, and you look at mirrorless, and you look at what have I got on my wall over there? I'm fantasizing over a Sony. Oh shit, what's the Sony I want? It's £1,000, I can't afford it. Is it the A7? But yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to have an actual camera. And you're right, because when you look at the really, you know, when you do look at a Marquez Brownlee, you know, MKBHD, you know, with his 13 million followers, and you think, okay, these guys are shooting on cameras, and so I'm just looking out to my kitchen thinking, what was the Sony I wanted? Because what I need to be doing is getting off these, albeit they're great smartphones, getting off these cameras here and going to shoot from whatever, you know, if it's a good Sony, if it's a good, you know, what a lot of these guys using. I watch enough instructional videos, I should know. It's frightening the progress that's been made in the last couple of years. I only started to get into the phone camera thing back in 2017, and I've only been back down here in Bournemouth since 2017. So yeah, but no, you're right. I mean, absolutely. You know, in terms of getting out there and shooting for real, yeah, an actual camera. What's freaky now is how these phones are made for most mere mortals to do a good job. And you know as well as I, my friend, in terms of what's the right language? The not processing. When things are taken from, you know, you take a shot of you and Sadie, or a cat or a car or something, and then that's bollocks, can't think of the word. But anyway, that in terms of filtering down to an internet post, you know, it's then going to go onto Instagram, it's going to go onto Twitter or whatever. It's so far removed from what your actual phone is taking, or camera, by the time it's done its processing. So I do find it, I giggle a bit when I see Samsung saying, oh yeah, look at our 100 times zoom. You're not going to use it. You're not, and when you do use it, it's just cropped in dog shit anyway. So it's not a numbers game, is it? It's not really, you know, why is it that my Pixel 5 that I got rid of recently, obviously I'm getting the Pixel 6 Pro, but my S21 Ultra with a gazillion zoom isn't doing the job that the Pixel did. I love the ease of use of the phone camera. Yeah, absolutely. When I did astrophotography, you have to use DSLR. Yes, depth of field. No, absolutely. I mean, this is the one thing. This is where Google and Huawei started this trend, as you say, with night sight, with astrophotography. What was the first phone that really made me think about nighttime work? It was my Mate 20 Pro, October 2018. And then, of course, Mate became Mate 30 Pro and Mate 40 Pro, and they've just released the new P50 Pro. All right, Huawei have had Google services stripped away, but I sideload my apps anyway. So I've become Justin Geek Boy with phones. Like I now am able to take anyone's phone, whether they're iOS or Android, and I just, I can sideload, or I can just say, get off and start using another launcher, use Nova Launcher for your Androids. Apple is severely restricted. You're never going to get that freedom that you're going to get with a good Android. But I do favour the system offered by Google, because it's not coming at like a Samsung with just, would you like some bloatware, sir? And I'm deleting 28 to 30 apps off a Samsung before I'm running it, because it just comes courtesy of Samsung bloat. But yeah, it's a really competitive market. I really, did you or do you think planes obsolescence is still rife? I don't know. As in engineered obsolescence? Yes, engineered. Yes, sorry, I wonder what you meant. Yes, planned obsolescence. Yes, I do, my friend. Yes, I do. Not to the extent it was. In fact, this is a conversation I had with Tom Reeder a while ago. Engineered obsolescence, planned obsolescence. This was certainly spoken about, wasn't it, with Edward Bernays. And I remember the Adam Curtis documentary, Century of the Self, the old sort of smoking adverts, and again, planned or engineered obsolescence. Your old car has to be replaced. And I fall prey to it. I mean, there's me just being, diarrheaing out of my mouth the last 10 minutes. Justin, your 12 Pro Max must go for 13 Pro Max, which is days away now, because of course Tim Cook will come out for their Apple keynote on the 7th or 14th of September with a good morning, and this is the best iPhone ever. And you're like, yeah, as if Tim Apple Cook would come out and actually not say good morning and this is our best iPhone ever. It's laughable. So yes, I do agree. I think there is planned obsolescence, engineered obsolescence. I don't like the dirty trickery with throttling. I don't like the trickery with lack of software updates. I will continue to be an Apple, what I call a bit of a portmanteau really, word merge, Apple Android. I use iOS and Android. I'm not one of those people that gets heated about, I'm only an Apple person or I'm only an Android person. I'm like, screw that. I actually see benefits to both. I'll be quite honest with you. If I was a bit more normal, if I was with someone with kids, and I would not be. Do you know what I mean? I think we've got a funny situation with technology. Planned obsolescence is obviously a thing, albeit less, but there's a perceived. Well, you're now going into the realm of FOMO, aren't you? It's like, oh no, fear of missing out. I can't not have the new thing. I've got to have the new thing. Yes, you're right. I think as we get older, we get more conservative. I think we give less fucks. I know I've become probably a little bit more. I'm going to end up being like one of those old cat ladies, but a bloke. Look, I've called this live stream TrueHouse. I mean, like as Sadie will attest, I always like to. It's not my ego talking. It's just the geek. Because my surname is House. I called my gym Workhouse. When I was a bodybuilder back in the day. And this is called TrueHouse. I like to incorporate my surname, just I don't know, because it's not Smith. But what was my convoluted point? I guess I'm cognizant. I'm very cognizant of the fact that I wouldn't be doing this if I had a bit more of a air quote normal life. If I had wife, kids, Do you know what I mean? 10 pairs of speakers, brilliant. I mean, I think there's a comfort in having. There's always going to be the boys with toys thing. There's something I think intrinsically as guys, not just guys, because I remember. I remember. I mean, God, this is a loose memory, but I remember Sadie being very adept with cars, and that was partly her dad. You know what I mean? So I remember Sadie being not girly. And now that sounds like I'm swiping at women. What I mean is that there was Sadie was adept at rolling up her sleeves and doing, frankly, stuff that guys should do. And she's always very adept to do. She could handle a car or a bike or gym equipment. She wasn't like, oh no, I can't do that. As you know, do you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, Sadie could drive I had a little Jeep thing. Guys, it's going back in it. I had a lovely little fun bright blue buggy. They're actually they're quite sort of not rare, but they're a bit more coveted these days. It was Suzuki X90, not to be confused with the Volvo XC90. I mean, I've actually got an XC40 on Motability because I'm the highest grade of disability. And Sadie was able to drive my little blue buggy, which was a Suzuki X90 with a T-top. And I had very wide wheel, like a 11 or a 10.5 inch rim with a 265 tyre put on it at the local Suzuki dealership just in Ipswich. And there was a circuit where, sorry Twitch, just put my hand across the screen, where Sadie and I worked at Ipswich Fitness First. There was it was a one-way circuit, wasn't it? But anyway, the local sort of track, if you like, and she tore around. It was bloody hilarious. She tore around in, basically driving my car at a better rate of turn than I could. I mean, now you'd be like, she's drifting, it was brilliant. And all of us blokes from the car park like, hey, I'll never forget that, it's brilliant. So yeah, I mean, Sadie had the athletic ability, to do you know what I mean? It was called the D's. What's the D's? What's that? Is that what the track's called? I don't know. But I never forget it. It was, I got some funny, gosh, that was 98, 98, 99. And I was out of town, I'd moved to Suffolk from London, and I arrived in wearing a bum bag and like red jeans. I couldn't have looked more. You're not local, are you, mate? You know what I mean? It was funny. I looked a right cock, but it was funny. Who's this bloke from London? And I had all this bloody sort of little blue buggy and fluffy blonde hair and tight jeans and a bum bag, and oh dear, yeah, gay. I just look gay. I did. I literally looked just like a sand. It's funny. It's funny. Oh bloody hell! Oh, you got to laugh. I'm just thinking it was funny because I guess it's all yeah Johnny Bravo, yes, that's absolutely true. And of course the what was the Energique, that was it. It's a company, to be fair, they were ever so comfy. There was an apparel company, gym wear, and what, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Sadie, but what Sadie had was, because Sadie, obviously being in her hometown, she had fantastic contacts with workout apparel, training gear, specifically studio wear, really. And because Sadie had come from, just being in the studio, we, as Fitness First staff, ended up, I think, Sadie was able to get the local company basically, fabricating, manufacturing we were all dressed in lycra, the equivalent of like Ron Hill tracksters, but they were called kick flares because they didn't go down to a taper. They were actually bloody comfy, because the elastic wasn't gripping into the waist, but they'd stay up. We were all teaching on the gym floor, or training, or in the case of Sadie, teaching like 10 classes a day, just absurd teaching schedule. In those days, of course, I was a 26 to 28 year old. It's 2 decades ago, more than 2 decades ago, and I was that guy, clearing, a lot of clients, and 5 in the morning, 5 in, I was a 10 client a day guy. I'll never forget my. I don't know. I was telling my brother the other day. I tried golf for the first time the other day. I'd never tried golf in my life. I was. Do you remember the Eggs and Ladies of the Night? The Eggs and Ladies of the Night. Hang on, let me think. Oh gosh. I remember all of us going out as a staff thing, and oh god. Oh. Well, when that circuit, didn't the local bobbies, didn't the local police say something like? Because again, I was an out of towner. Like, this area near the football ground was a notorious hotspot for ladies of the night. To do their trade, as it were. Shit, man. Yeah. What's the eggs though? What was the eggs? What happened? I don't know what the eggs thing was. God, I can't think what the eggs things was though. Say, what was the? Knowing me, it would have been throwing eggs or something, wouldn't it? I do remember we eggs. Oh God, we did. Oh my God, we did. Yes, we did. We chucked eggs at them. Yes, we did. I think that might have been you, me, and Ross, because he was young and impressionable, wasn't he? Oh God, we did. And knowing me, it would have been from the little open top Suzuki, wouldn't it? I'm guessing. I don't know. God, I forgot that. We pelted them with eggs, didn't we? Fucking brilliant. See, that sort of shit, that sort of stuff is just so funny. It's just so funny. I wanted you to yeah, we chuck some eggs at the local brasses, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, of course you do. They were good times, man. They were good times. They were good times. I remember going to HMV. There was a local. What was nice about Ipswich was that, again, we're talking 98, 99. What we still had was wonderful. But it's funny though. Say it's nothing to be. It is funny. It is shameful, but it's funny. We had. Some of my fondest memories were being able to walk in to town, with colleagues, with staff, and you could go to HMV, very analogue shopping, go and buy clothes, and obviously in those days I was in shape in those days. I mean, we're all younger, but we do things as a staff. It was I do maintain this all these years later, and I know I've said this, and I would hazard a guess a lot of people of that time would also feel this. No worries. I will. But yeah, it was just a lot of fun. I think a lot of jobs. I should be. God, what have I done? I've done over an hour now. But yeah, I think it was very much all its time. We had a right good laugh as staff. That's what that whole period was. A lot of camaraderie, a lot of giggling. Staff and members nights out. It was a good crack. Okay, I'm going to do some cardio. Sorry about the constant jiggery pokery with cameras. A bit pants. Lovely meeting you, my friend. Fellow transplant recipient. Nice to speak to you and say. Really good to. Really good to speak to you guys. And look, I'm here every night doing this. So you found me. If I get a little bit better, I need to start providing things like links. Links to Rumble, links to Twitch, links to YouTube. But of course, episode 401 this was. So 402 tomorrow night, I'll be back. I'm in hospital tomorrow in Guy's, 11 o'clock for my bloods. And I'll be here tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, same time, same place, same face. Big love, I'm out. Cheers.